Okay, so making a movie is a project that involves a lot of resources from the production, branding, and the marketing. Now, join us on the show today to discuss her new movie, After 30, and what it took to put up this project is Omori Sojo, Spaine, also known as Momo, Spaine. Did I get it correct?
Hi.
I got it right.
Well, it's Omori Sojo.
Hey.
So yeah, Momo is fine. That's why.
Omori Sojo.
Momo is there.
All right, so welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you. I'm doing great, thanks.
Okay, all right, so let's dive straight into it. Now, let's start with your journey to this point, breaking into Nollywood as a filmmaker, producer, filmmaker. What has it been like for you?
It's been a really long time in the industry. Like, I've self-trained in the industry. I kind of fell into it while I was at at university in South Africa. Okay. This was at the beginning of the boom of Afrobeats, where Nigerian music was really just starting to make waves, and all the artists would go make their music videos in South Africa.
I see, yeah.
So I would go do...
That's quite a while.
Yeah, it's like 13, 14 years now. So I would go act as a PA on sets for Sasha P at the time, because she would bring all these Nigerian artists to film their videos in South Africa. And since then, I've just self-trained and then went to film school, and now, I've directed my first film. So it's been quite a journey.
So let's say 13, 14 years at this, right?
Yeah.
And so what's been the biggest challenge for you, since you've been doing this? I mean, 13 years, but you just made your official directorial debut, right?
Yes.
But, challenges so far since you started?
I mean, I think the main challenges are things that every filmmaker in Nigeria deals with. The lack of structure, the lack of infrastructure, the lack of support for the entertainment industry. Financing and funding films is always a challenge.
Money.
And then making your money back when you do manage to find an investor that believes in you and trusts you with their money, making the money back is a bit touch and go as well. So I would say the money, it comes down to the money. That's always the hardest part.
Okay, so how many projects have you worked on so far since you've been, apart from you making this particular one as a director, generally how many have you done as a producer and the likes?
About 4 feature-length productions, starting with Before 30, the series prequel to the film that I've now directed. Okay, so when you talk about, costs, how much has, what's the highest amount you've maybe, I know that you're not the sponsor, but the highest amount you guys have used to produce a movie? I'd probably say After 30 is probably the highest.
That's the one you just worked on?
Yes, the one I just worked on.
And
that's
how much
the biggest. I can't give you exact figures, but
Hollywood will give us exact figures. So you know what? We use $150 million.
I'd say probably
we're expecting $500 million in return.
Somewhere in between 200,000 and 300,000.
200,000
USD.
US dollars.
Yeah.
That's how much, Seth. That's like.
Well, we shot it in October 2023, so the rate was a little bit different. It wasn't as impressive as it sounds.
Okay, the rates were better then.
Yeah, the rates were better.
But it was still a lot of money.
Yeah, still a lot of money.
$300,000 in 2023.
23. It's still
it's
a lot
around
of money.
Almost plenty.
The conversion.
It's plenty. All right. Okay. So now, what about working with talent? How has it been for you? Have you been able to sort of manage egos and all that? Because I know it's a lot of work trying to manage actors and all that. Even though you pay them, they still have their baggages. What was it like for you?
So that was definitely. There was a bit of a transition that had to happen there, because the cast was used to seeing me as a producer because I produced them in the first season. So now coming 10 years later and directing them, it's a very different relationship. There's a level of vulnerability and communication that's needed between an actor and a director that is not necessarily required for a producer. So just kind of crossing that barrier, getting them to trust me in this new role, getting them to open up to me and building those bridges that we didn't have before this film. It was a bit of a journey, but we got there. And at the end of the day, we're all professionals. You don't have to love the people you work with to get the job done. But still, even though they didn't have to, they really embraced me as their director and gave me a chance, because I was also a first-time director. So it was a lot of firsts being thrown at them. So I really had to earn that trust from them to say, I can do this, you can trust me with your talent and,
your egos.
Exactly, I'm as invested in this project as you are. We've all been working on this for 10 years plus now, so it was a journey, but we got there, and you can see from the results, like they did a brilliant job.
Okay, so it was more like, because you're a first-time director, like, okay, would he be like, okay, what do you know?
Yeah, not really. No one ever said that to
they won't
me.
say to you, but like, the
character.
But
certainly, when something means so much to you, as this project meant to them, you want to make sure that you're in good hands. Imagine your first season being directed by Bibi Shashere.
That's huge.
Director of Breath of Life, and then now you get your opportunity to make a movie, and he's stepping down and saying, "I'm going to give you guys this new, fresh director that is completely untested." So anyone would have questions. It's completely understandable, but I just knew that I could do the job, and I'm really glad that they trusted me because the results speak for themselves.
So now tell us about the movie in question, After 30. Tell us about the whole thing.
Okay, so After 30 is a continuation, like I said, of the Before 30 series. It picks up with the girls 8 years after we left them in the first season. So they've obviously gone through a lot of change. They're now navigating new problems that are a little bit deeper, problems related to friendships, with their careers, with identity. So it's just, it's a continuation, but we've also made a big leap. Everyone has grown up. I've grown up, the cast has grown up, the characters themselves have grown up, and the overall world of the film is just more mature and deeper.
Okay, and is it out yet?
It comes out on Friday, the 9th of May.
Friday.
This Friday, 9th of May on Amazon
what streaming?
Prime.
Okay, Prime. How do you even get Prime to come on board for this movie?
I think after they saw that there was an existing fan base for Before 30, when Nemsha got the opportunity to do a 3-picture slate with Amazon, they presented this as one of the options, and I think it just made sense for Amazon because of the existing IP.
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
Okay, so it comes out this Friday on Prime.
Yes.
Okay, guys, make sure you check it out. Okay, before we go, I have 2 questions, but I'll just try and summarize it into one.
Yeah.
So now, do you feel like the veterans in the business, they've done a good job in easing the next generation of filmmakers, even movie stars into the business, into Nollywood? And I heard you call Bibi Shashere. Was he your mentor?
Definitely.
Okay.
I first film job, Bibi gave me the job to produce Before 30. I worked at Nemsha, his company, for 7 years before I left. So I've always learned from Bibi. The first few things I learned about film in a real way were from Bibi. So yeah, I would say in my experience, I've had a lot of guidance from people in the industry that knew more than me, not just Bibi. I did some work for Jade Oshiberu at some point as well. I learned a lot from her as well. So yeah, I've been lucky to be exposed.
Lucky, actually.
I've been very lucky to be exposed.
The names you're calling, they're actually big shots.
They're big shots. So, I'm standing on their shoulders for sure.
All right, okay, so After 30 comes out Friday. What time, from 12 or any time?
Typically, they drop at midnight. So,
at midnight?
Yes, so the previous night. So if you're awake, you can probably catch it in the wee hours of the morning. But, once you wake up on the 9th of May, it should be on your Prime.
Okay, real quick, social media, how do they follow you on social media before?
You can follow me at Momo_Spaine on Instagram, and that's the only place I am. I'm not good with social media.
All right, thank you so much, Momo Spaine, for coming on the show. And we wish you well with your first directorial debut, After 30.